Cotie McMahon tried to disrespect Caitlin Clark, and it backfired badly.
Over the last 3 years, you've had some absolute battles with Iowa. What is it about that team that brings out the competitive fire in you guys?
In basketball, words spread faster than a crossover, and Cotie McMahon just found that out the hard way. When the Ohio State star took a shot at Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, she had no idea the firestorm she was about to ignite. One post-game interview, one controversial comment, and suddenly McMahon was at the center of a social media explosion she never saw coming. The backlash was immediate. Fans, analysts, and even former players weighed in, turning what seemed like just another rivalry moment into a full-blown controversy. The basketball world is still buzzing about what went down and the unexpected fallout that followed. Let's rewind and break it all down. Just last week, Ohio State went head-to-head with Iowa in a high-stakes Big Ten matchup. It was an intense battle from start to finish, with the Buckeyes barely escaping with a 1-point win, edging out Iowa in a nail-biting 59-58 showdown. But while the game itself was a thriller, what happened after the final buzzer stole the spotlight. During a post-game interview with the Big Ten Network, McMahon was asked about the heated rivalry with Iowa. Her response? It wasn't just confident, it was dismissive. Not gonna get into all of it, but let's just say they don't respect us the way they should, McMahon said, her tone sharp. We take that personal. I take that personal. I like to fight on the court. I've got that dog in me, so I go out there and prove it. That statement set off alarms. Fans were quick to connect the dots, especially since Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball, had just moved from Iowa to the Wnba as the #1 overall pick for the Indiana Fever. Clark's historic college career, record-breaking performances, and humble demeanor have made her a national icon, drawing millions of new fans to the sport. So when McMahon's words came off as a jab, not just at Iowa, but possibly at Clark herself, the internet erupted.
You people at home, like the competitiveness, the way that you play is unbelievable. It's so physical. This was a high-level game. You talked about that you guys have put yourself in positions like this all season long, but do you feel like, and especially starting the postseason with a win like this, that has taught you something, that you are a grittier, hard-fought team, that you're okay in moments like this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we had 2 games back-to-back in overtime. I mean, who does that? Like, let's be real. So, I mean, just to get through those games and play with just poise and fight, we can do anything. We can do anything.
How about the UCLA Bruins that you'll get tomorrow in the semifinals?
I'm excited.
What made Cotie McMahon's comments even more controversial was the timing. This wasn't just a random shot at Iowa. It came just days after McMahon herself was caught on camera flipping off an opposing team during another game. The irony? It wasn't lost on fans. Basketball analysts and social media users were quick to point out the contradiction, calling someone else disrespectful while displaying that kind of behavior yourself. It didn't sit right with a lot of people. And just like that, the internet erupted. Twitter, Instagram, and basketball forums flooded with reactions, some expressing disbelief, others outright calling McMahon out. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. Seeing someone act disrespectful and then try to gaslight their way out of it? That's a classic move. Another blunt take compared her to a rising WNBA star, saying she's a poor man's Angel Reese. But it wasn't just casual fans weighing in. Basketball analysts and former players jumped into the conversation too. Many expressed disappointment, questioning not just McMahon's words, but why she chose to say them now. ESPN analyst Rebecca Lobo put it simply in a tweet. Young players need to understand the weight their words carry, especially when talking about someone who's done so much to grow women's basketball. And here's where things got even more interesting. Reporters who have covered Iowa and Ohio State extensively over the years started digging, trying to find any examples of Clark or Iowa showing disrespect toward the Buckeyes. The result? Nothing. In fact, Caitlin Clark has been widely praised throughout her career for her sportsmanship and humility, despite her superstar status. Realizing how quickly this situation was spiraling, Ohio State's coaching staff wasted no time in stepping in. Head coach Kevin McGuff released a statement the next day saying, "Our program prides itself on respect for the game and for our opponents. We've spoken with Cotie about her comments, and she understands they didn't reflect our team values." But by then, the damage was already done. By this point, the controversy had exploded beyond basketball circles. Mainstream sports media couldn't ignore it. ESPN, Fox Sports, and CBS all ran segments breaking down the situation, and suddenly, Cotie McMahon found herself under a spotlight she never expected. Sources close to the Ohio State program revealed that McMahon was struggling with the backlash. What started as a post-game comment had turned into a full-blown media storm, and just 48 hours later, she took to Instagram to issue an apology. "I want to apologize for my post-game comments. In the heat of competition, I spoke without thinking about the impact of my words. I have tremendous respect for Caitlin Clark and everything she's done for women's basketball. There's no place for disrespect in the game, and I should have chosen my words more carefully. I'm using this as a learning moment to grow as both a player and a person." While some fans appreciated her willingness to take responsibility, others weren't convinced. Many pointed out that the apology only came after massive public pressure. One viral comment summed up the skepticism. "This is the same copy-paste apology every athlete gives after they get called out. Doesn't change what was said in the first place." But McMahon's words weren't just being challenged by fans. Caitlin Clark's former Iowa teammates stepped in to defend her. One senior guard told reporters, "Anyone who's played with Caitlin knows she's one of the most humble superstars in the game. She respects every opponent and never trash talks. These accusations, completely baseless." And then things took another turn. Old footage of past Iowa versus Ohio State matchups started circulating online. Analysts broke down the games, searching for any signs of disrespect from Clark or the Iowa program. The verdict? Nothing unusual, just the normal competitive fire you'd expect in high-level college basketball. As the controversy grew, Ohio State Athletic Director Gene Smith felt the need to step in. His statement was clear: "We have always had great respect for Caitlin Clark and the Iowa program. While we support our student athletes, we also expect them to represent our university with class. This has been a valuable teaching moment about the responsibility that comes with wearing this jersey." Meanwhile, McMahon's teammates were put in an uncomfortable position, forced to answer questions about her comments instead of their own performances. Team captain Taylor Thierry tried to shift the focus back to basketball, saying, "We're focused on our next games and improving as a team. What happened in a post-game interview is behind us now." But this situation isn't just about one comment. It highlights a major shift in women's basketball. With more visibility than ever comes more scrutiny. This is something male athletes have dealt with for decades, and now women's basketball players are starting to experience the same level of attention, for better or worse. The game is changing, and so are the expectations. This level of attention is still new territory for women's sports. Over the past few years, the spotlight on the WNBA and women's college basketball has grown like never before, largely thanks to superstars like Caitlin Clark, who have taken the game to a whole new level. Through it all, the Indiana Fever organization kept things professional. Their official response was simple but firm: "Our focus is on preparing for the upcoming season and supporting our players as they transition to professional basketball. We have no comment on statements made in collegiate post-game interviews." And what about Caitlin Clark? She didn't take the bait. When asked about Cotie McMahon's comments during a preseason media session, Clark brushed off the controversy, saying, "I'm focused on improving and helping the Fever win games. That's where my energy is right now." That calm, no-drama response didn't go unnoticed. Fans and analysts praised her maturity, reinforcing her reputation as a class act. One sports columnist put it perfectly: "The contrast couldn't be more obvious. While McMahon is making headlines for all the wrong reasons, Clark is letting her game do the talking." And for McMahon, the timing couldn't have been worse. As a rising junior at Ohio State with WNBA dreams of her own, this controversy has placed the wrong kind of attention on her. Instead of discussions about her talent, people are now questioning her maturity and decision-making, two things that NBA and WNBA scouts weigh just as heavily as athletic ability. However, her teammates are standing by her, believing that one mistake shouldn't define her. Senior guard Taylor Mikesell told reporters, "Cotie is a great teammate who truly cares about this program. She made a mistake, took responsibility, and is learning from it. That's what growth looks like." Even Ohio State fans have shown a mix of support and tough love. One longtime Buckeye booster summed it up: "We love Cotie's passion and competitive fire, but there are lines you don't cross in sports. I think she understands that now, but this situation is bigger than just one player. It's sparking a larger conversation about sportsmanship and the evolution of women's basketball. As the sport continues to explode in popularity and commercial success, the line between competitive fire and disrespect is becoming more important than ever." WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops weighed in on the situation, saying, "What we're seeing right now is just growing pains. These young women are playing in a spotlight that didn't exist before." And that's the reality. Women's basketball is changing fast, and with more exposure comes more scrutiny. Some players will rise to the occasion. Others, they'll learn the hard way. Just a few years ago, moments like this wouldn't have blown up overnight, but in today's world, every word, every gesture is analyzed and dissected. For athletes, this creates an intense challenge, but also an opportunity to shape the way their sport is perceived. One thing this controversy has made crystal clear: the power of social media in modern sports. Within hours of Cotie McMahon's comments, clips of her interview spread like wildfire, racking up millions of views across platforms. The court of public opinion had already made its decision long before any official statements were issued. Sports psychologist Dr. Jennifer Fraser explained, "Athletes today don't just play the game, they have to manage their personal brand in real time. One unguarded moment can create a narrative that takes months to change. It's a pressure past generations didn't have to deal with." Meanwhile, Iowa head coach Lisa Bluter kept it professional when asked about the situation. "We're focused on our program and the positives we're building here." Even Olympic gold medalist Megan Rapinoe weighed in, tweeting, "Women's sports grow when we lift each other up, period." As the dust settles on this controversy, many are shifting their focus to the bigger picture. Women's basketball is booming. Attendance records are being shattered. Sponsorship deals are rolling in. Stars like Caitlin Clark aren't just basketball players anymore. They're global icons. With that massive spotlight comes increased responsibility. The new wave of women's basketball stars aren't just playing for themselves, they're role models for millions of young fans. So when McMahon called Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever disrespectful, she wasn't just taking a shot at an opponent, she was criticizing the face of the sport and one of its flagship organizations. Now, McMahon is learning the hard way that words can have lasting consequences. In today's hyper-connected world, post-game comments don't just stay in the press room, they become part of your digital footprint, shaping how fans, coaches, teammates, and even future employers see you. For Ohio State, the focus now is on helping McMahon move forward while keeping the team locked in on the season. With tournament play approaching, they can't afford distractions. Coach Kevin McGuff has reportedly used this moment as a teachable lesson for his players about handling the media and understanding the business side of sports. Industry insiders believe this incident will likely follow McMahon throughout the rest of her college career. Athletes have come back from much worse PR nightmares, but it takes consistent effort, real growth, and actions that speak louder than words. The path to redemption is clear. Let your game do the talking, and choose your words wisely. Meanwhile, for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, this controversy has done nothing to slow them down. If anything, Clark's mature response has only made her even more respected. As she prepares for her rookie WNBA season, her ability to rise above the noise and focus on basketball is yet another sign of why she's built for this moment. And as for Cotie McMahon, the basketball world is watching. Will she bounce back from this self-inflicted controversy? Only time will tell. What do you think? Was the backlash fair, or was this blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love basketball drama, highlights, and deep dives, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Because in basketball, just like in life, it's not about how you fall, it's about how you get back up. We'll see you in the next one.